Hi all, welcome back to the Selfscape podcast. Don't mind how I sound. I'm actually excited to be recording. I'm really excited. I am excited. I'm excited. I don't know why I keep emphasizing it, but I am, honestly. I've just been in a very, should I say, introspective mode. I think, maybe because I think every time my birthday is close, I always am in an introspective mode, and I'm thinking about the previous year and how my life has been, how my life can get better, what I can do to make changes, how I want those changes to be effective and stuff like that. So I feel like this is like a yearly ritual at this point, or something I do every year, or that I've come to do, and I'm still doing it. I'm in my late 20s, and I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, I'm growing older, obviously, but at the same time, I'm like, really? Like, really? How did I get here so fast? Like, time flies when you're having fun. God. So yeah, I'm going to turn 28 this year. I don't even know why I started the podcast with that, because I mean, I'm here to talk about books. You guys know I love books so much. I'm here to talk about books, but yeah, let's just go with the flow for now before I get into my book conversation. What was I saying? I can't remember. So another thing that comes with aging, yes, is that I'm becoming very forgetful. I don't know if it's like an aging thing or if it's just my mind is so preoccupied with, or my mind is occupied with so many things, so it's hard for me to keep up. I've gotten to that place where I'm trying to, like, I have a book and pen so that I can jot things down, or I have my notes app so I can always put things there, or like in Notion, because I will forget. Like I was saying, I'm in my late 20s, and it's just, I'm thankful, because one thing I realized was in my early 20s, I was very naive. I was so naive. I didn't know the world wasn't black and like, I didn't know that the world was such a dangerous, weird place. So I wasn't really prepared for the things that I encountered as I grew older. And I've only now come to learn of myself in my late 20s. I'm still learning of myself. I'm not there yet, but like the contrast from when I was in my early 20s, mid 20s to now, there's such a huge difference. The things that I did then, I wouldn't do now. And which is why I think that experience, maturity are so important. And some people are, I'm sorry, they probably will never get wiser. I'm so sorry. I feel like as you grow, you should have more wisdom, or you should have more insight into life, right? Life just kind of molds you and you become better. So the things that I did when I was in my early 20s, my mid 20s, I for sure will not do them now by the grace of God, because just when I think about them, I'm like, I was so silly. That's the perfect word. I was so silly. I was young. I was so naive. I was so funny. Because how? And now I'm so much better. I know better now. I have better insight into how life works. I know that everybody's not going to be a good person. Some people are just generally nasty people. So yeah, I actually wrote a piece on my Instagram because I felt very reflective at that point. I was really feeling so reflective, like, oh my god, I'm getting older. So let me read it in case you didn't see the post. I've been thinking about what it means to turn 28, searching for the right words to describe how I feel, but no perfect description comes to mind. Perhaps it's the realization that I'm growing older, yet at the same time, realizing that my life is only just beginning, that I only truly started living a few years ago, maybe even last year or yesterday, that I haven't fully lived, explored, or loved my life as much as I wanted to. And now I'm just beginning to learn myself, to love myself, to embrace life in all its colors, to discover the many beautiful ways I can reinvent myself. I'm learning that I can be anything I want to be at any time, regardless of age. That aging does not define the depth of who I am or what I can become. At 27, I was naive, I was silly, and now I know I am better than I was before. As my 28th birthday draws near, I see it as another opportunity, another chance to try again, to learn, to be fully myself, to walk in purpose, to pour into the things I care about, to explore without fear, to step into the fullness of who I am meant to be. At 26, at 27, I did not know I would find myself here being fully immersed in the Christian music space, in the business of music, in talent management, talent development and nurturing, in bridging gaps and solving problems. But here I am at 28, having only just glimpsed the life that I could live. And I want more. I'm searching, I'm knocking on doors, exploring, becoming, and I've realized it all just started at 28. So there is no fear of aging anymore. The things I once craved, the desires that once filled my heart have been transformed. And now I see that every year I once thought I was waiting for my life to begin was actually preparing me for the life that I live now. If I could go back 5 years, I would tell that version of myself, wait, trust, let God. So this is my note to myself, that I wholly embrace the life God has created for me, that I embrace my identity, my journey, that I love, that I live, that I learn, that I make mistakes and that it is okay, that I thrive, that I flourish, and that in all things I'm exactly where I am meant to be. To my 28th. And when I wrote this note, I meant every word, and I still mean every word. I was in a very self-reflective place, and I came to understand, or I found out that the life that I'm currently living, I didn't even dream of it. Like, I didn't plan for it. I didn't envision it. I didn't see it. When I was finishing university, when I was, how old was I? I think 2021. That's about 4 years ago. So maybe like I was 24, I think. Can't remember now. It's not so long ago, but I just cannot bring myself to do the math. Okay. So, but when I was finishing uni, 2019, 2020, COVID set me back 1 year. COVID and strike set me back like a year or even 2 years. I didn't think, I didn't know what I was going to become or who I was going to become. I didn't see me. If somebody had asked me at the time, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I wouldn't have envisioned me now. I wouldn't have envisioned Hadi or Hadassah, wherever I am now. I've been through so many life transitions, so many changes, so many phases. At the point I was really struggling with identity crisis. And one thing I have learned about myself is I never share my struggles in the moment that I'm going through them. I share them after I have overcome them. I don't know if that's like a self-sabotage thing, because in the moment that I'm struggling, I need a lot of help, right? But I will keep it to myself till I have overcome in some way, some form. God helps me, I do overcome. And then afterwards, I start to reflect on those transition periods, those phases of my struggles, and then I'm able to then talk about it and I'm able to share it. I really do not know if it's self-sabotage, but if somebody had asked me at the time, I would have said, or maybe I studied biochemistry in school, so maybe I would say, oh, I'll be working in a lab somewhere, or maybe I would get a job at a bank or something. I would do a graduate training program. I didn't know what I wanted to do myself. I mean, so many things have happened. I've gone through several jobs. I have gone through several transition periods. I'm here. One thing I knew was that I had this knack, or I had this passion for the things that weren't conventional in sense creativity. When I mean conventional, I mean like corporates. I didn't see myself in a suit. I didn't see myself sitting behind a desk. In fact, I used to tell my friends that I will never work for anyone, which is such an irony now because I am working for people. But what I meant at the time was I just didn't envision myself in an office working in a corporate setting. I saw myself more in the creative space, but I didn't know how that would manifest, and I couldn't really bring like to words those things. Fast forward now, I'm here and I'm like, I never would have dreamt of this life. I never would have envisioned this life, that I am fully immersed in the Christian music space, as an operations person, as a content developer, as a creative director, running and handling projects for Christian artists, doing stuff just doing my part to move the needle. I never would have seen it coming. And there's so many things about this journey that I really haven't talked about, that I really haven't shared as much with people. Maybe because I like to keep things very dear to my heart. I like to keep my experiences very close to me. I don't like to give off as much of me as people think I do. The part of me that you see, or the part of me that I share, those are the parts that I have told myself it's okay to let this part go. I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but yes, I have a lot of self-reflections. My 28th birthday, and I've just been thinking about my life and just really been thinking so much about my journey and my experiences and the things that have shaped me, defined me, made me who I am. And I will attribute a lot of my life, a lot of my transition, a lot of my growth to God Almighty, because everything I am now, everywhere I have been to, the rooms that I have stepped into, the access that I have gotten to people, to relationships, to platforms, and all of those things have come through the Lord. I don't think that by myself I would have made or built this life. I feel like by myself I would have sabotaged this life, because there is no way I would have seen it. There is no way I would have envisioned it. God put it in my heart. God helped me become, and God is still helping me become, right? So I turned 28 on the 21st of March, and we're probably going to talk a lot about just self-reflections this month, because that's where my headspace is. And I've just been thinking about all the things that I could have had, maybe things that I delayed, and I'm thinking to myself, or things that I did that I shouldn't have done, right? And there's this one thing that I regret so much, but every time I regret it, or every time I think about it, I remember that every journey or every experience I've had, I need to take lessons from it, and it has shaped me to be who I currently am. It has somewhat contributed to my self-awareness in a way. I'm more self-aware than I was before, than I was a year ago. I know the things my interests have changed. Just like I said in my self-reflection piece, the things that I used to care about, I don't care about them anymore. The things that I used to hold on to, I don't hold on to them anymore. My interests have changed, sort of like they've been transformed, refined. The things that used to bother me do not bother me anymore. I'm now bothered by much more important things, right? So I really do not know why I have come to this podcast to come and share all these things with you people, but that's where my headspace is. We're supposed to be talking about books. I'm really trying to end this conversation so we can talk about books, because that's what I came here to do, books. So for my 28th birthday, I decided that I wanted to buy 28 books, not for the month, but like for the entire year. And so far so good. I have added, since I made the decision, because I bought some books if I made the decision. I think I bought like 3 books, and then I made the decision. So since I made the decision, I've added 10 new books to my stack, to my book stack. And I was looking at my book stack the other day, like it's actually just 2 pillars. And I just told myself that, bruh, if you actually sell these books, hey, you will have a lavish birthday party. Like if I sell all my books, I will have money. And I always say, like, my books are like contingency plans for the day where I am extremely broke and I'm just thinking of a solution. I will sell all my books, but I may never sell them because I'm sort of a book collector. I have books that I've owned for like almost 10 years now, and I just cannot bring myself to give them away. I think I can't. I don't think I can sell my books. I love my books. I love reading. I love books. I love to see them. I love to just admire them. So I'm sort of like a collector-ish, but then also a reader. And I have added 10 new books to my stack. 8 that I bought, and then 2 that I got for free, right? Which is pretty interesting. So I have 18 books to go. So if you want to celebrate my birthday, or if you want to give me a birthday gift this year, which this is something I've shared with all my friends, buy me books. Don't buy me anything else. Or you buy me a bookshelf, because my books definitely need their own space. So either buy me books or you buy me a bookshelf. And if you're going to buy me books, please, I don't know, you may want to do it anonymously, but I'm not a fan of anonymous things. Or let me not say I'm not a fan, because I may be a fan and I don't know. I feel like it's an acquired taste to do anonymous things. Yeah, but if you want to buy me books and you don't know the type of books that I like, I feel like you should reach out to me first so that you don't go and buy a book that I will not appreciate. Or maybe check out, like, I talk about books a lot, my podcast, my social media. So maybe check all of those places and say, okay, from everything, I have a highlight section dedicated to books. So what kind of books do I read? You can check. You can find out, sort of. But basically, books. That's what I want for my birthday, and lots and lots and lots of prayers. Lots of prayers will go a long way for me. So I'm currently reading a book. Actually, I think I've said this thing before, maybe not here, but like on social media. And I said that I have a book problem where my friend called me a book ashawo. She said I'm a book ashawo. So if I'm currently reading a book and I see another book on my shelf that catches my attention, I will drop my current read to read that book. It's a problem. Trust me, I have read like 4 books simultaneously. I'm reading and I'm dropping, I'm picking up this one, and I'm like, oh, I think let me go back to the other one. Let me start this. It's a problem. So I started reading a book this month. It's called On a Day Like This, which is really great because I love crime thrillers, I love murder mysteries, and it just falls into the category of books that I really care about. So I started reading it and I was really intrigued, and I was like, oh my god, what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And then I remembered that in my book club, they shared a book that I really liked, our book of the month. I really liked the title of the book, and I'm such a Korean K-drama fan. So when it comes to reading books that have titles or books that are written by Korean authors or something like that, I do have an interest. There's a book that I've been trying to find. I haven't found it yet. I Want to Eat the Bookie or something like that. That's the name of the book. I haven't found it yet. I've been looking for that book. I need to buy it. So the name of the book is, and I'm so sorry if I murder this pronunciation, please just have mercy on me, please. Welcome to the Hayunam Dong Bookshop. So when I saw the title of the book, I'm like, I have to read this book. So as I started reading my On a Day Like This, I remembered the book and I picked it up, and I started reading it. And you guys, I feel like it will take me a while to finish it, but this book was written for me. I don't know about you, but if you're a reader, there's some books that you experience differently. Like there's some books that you start to read them and it feels like a new world has opened and you are immersed in that, like nothing else exists. You are just immersed. You can see the characters, you can hear them, you can touch them, you can feel them, you have coffee with them, you have dinner with them, you experience their pain, their joys. But this book about a reader's perspective, which is different from all the books I have ever read. I have never read a book that was highlighting me as a reader. I'm reading a reader's perspective, and I get to a part in the book, and that part of the book talks about how, oh my god, I need to find it. I hope I still have that perspective. Because I need to read it out. Yes. Somebody has a bookshop who is like the main character of the book. She has a bookshop. She loves to read. She also loves to sell books as well. And she used to have these book meetings in her book club. In her bookstore. And she would invite authors to come and have conversations about their book readings now. So she was interviewing an author and she asked him about, reading and why reading was such an important thing, or for him, he reads as well. He reads and he writes, basically. And then he says this: reading makes you see with clearer eyes and understand the world better. When you can do that, you become stronger. The feeling you associate with success. But at the same time, it gives you pain. Within the pages, there's much suffering beyond what we've gone through in our finite experience of life. You read about suffering you didn't know existed. Having experienced that pain through words, it becomes a lot harder to focus on pursuing individual happiness and success. Reading makes you deviate further from the textbook definition of success, because books don't make us go ahead of or above anyone else. They guide us to stand alongside others. Oh my god. You guys, I realized that since I started reading again from last year, my perspective about life has changed. I'm not even this thing, when I read this part, I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize. My perspective about life has changed. I became more empathetic towards people. I didn't know. I became more empathetic towards people. I became very slow to judge. Like, when I hear a story, I would want to understand the person's perspective, whoever is the character of the story. Like, I'm talking even real life. I want to hear their perspective. I want to understand where they are coming from, what their journey has been like, how their life, how the pieces of their life fit together to get to this moment. I realized that I became more understanding of people, and just, I don't know how to explain it, y'all, but seriously, this particular paragraph just properly explained how I view things now. Life is not all black and white, and life is life, right? You just have to make the most of what you have sometimes, maybe not all the time. I'm not saying don't strive for more. I'm not saying don't try to get more. But sometimes you just have to make the most of what you have. I read a book sometime last year, and that book has such a strong hold on me, because it made me realize that everybody doesn't get happy endings. No matter how much you want to have a happy ending in some way, in some form, think about it. There have been situations or circumstances in your life where you actually never got a happy ending. It could be like a relationship ended, friendship broke, you lost some money, you started a business, it didn't work, you got a job, you got fired. You didn't have a happy ending in those situations. And I think that it is okay. It's a part of life. The important thing would then be, where do you go from there? What do you do from there? How do you pick yourself back up? How do you remold your life? And which is one of the things I said, where I realized that at any age, I can decide to reinvent myself. I have free will. Age is not sort of like a barrier or a boundary for how much you can change your life. You can wake up at 40 and decide, I want to be much more healthier than I currently am. I want to go back to school. I want to get an education. In that moment, being 40 is not a boundary for you. The boundary is in your mind. You're not looking at your age as, oh, I can't because I'm 40. I can't because I'm 28. And man, oh my God, this is a lot for me. And because I'm trying to express this, I'm trying to process at the same time. So it's just a lot. But reading has made me understand people so much and made me more empathetic, which is why I believe that if a lot of people read more books, and not just self-help books, because we have so many people reading self-help books that they have bad character. So that book is not helping you. But like, read books, read fiction about people's stories. Every time people say, oh, I can't read fiction. I can't read fiction. You have no idea. I read a book last year, Born on a Tuesday by L. Nathan John. I feel everybody should read that book, about a northern man that from a very young age, he already had close proximity to violence. His mom was an Amajiri, and he was sent to learn under, I think, like a sheikh or something. You know how they go to learn like at a mosque, they have a teacher or something. Anyhow, Shaipu should go and read the book. Let me just be very careful my words, but you guys should go and read the book, sha. So basically, he had close proximity to violence, and in a way, he turned his life around. And because he encountered a sheikh that took him in, trained him, raised him, gave him a home to stay, gave him like a purpose, and in a blink of an eye, everything he had, he lost. And that was just so wild to me. That story has stuck with me because I felt like he didn't deserve this. He lived a life of pain. And it just made me think of how many people may never get comfort or ease in their entire life. They will toil from the beginning of their life till the end of their life. And I don't know how that is like for them. Do they find some comfort in that? Their entire life, all they've known is low income. all they've known, and they are old now, and that's all they've ever known. I see every time I go to work, I see like older people, old like people that should be in retirement at home chilling, and maybe their kids are sending them some money, pension is paying them or something. They are in the market. They are driving buses. I'm like, Daddy, you're supposed to be at home. Why are you driving a damn fool? Why are you hustling? You're supposed to be in your house. But he's hustling. She's hustling. She's selling garden egg. She's selling fruit. She's selling roasted corn. Like, and I just keep thinking, how are there people that will go through life for the entirety of their life, never have some ease? Like, when they look back, all they did was toil. Life is good regardless of their toil. Because I'm just thinking that's such a crazy thing. And I've seen so many perspectives of people in books or like stories, and I know you will say, oh my, those stories are not real, but you don't know that because you haven't experienced everybody in the world, so you don't know what people are going through. You don't know their life experiences, man. Anyhow, Sha, that's what I came to talk about. Reading is such a growth thing. Like, if you want to have a better perspective on life, if you want to think about people in a better way, if you want to experience people in depth, I think you should pick up a book and read. Let your mind be transformed so that we can become more intelligent beings. I feel that a lot of people are very unemotionally intelligent, if that's a word, unemotionally. They are not emotionally intelligent because they don't read, because you just have not lost yourself in the pages of a book and experienced somebody from a book. So yes, that's my 2 cents. I don't know what you make of this episode. You people always tell me that, and the reason you love my podcast is because I come and share my opinions, I come and share my thoughts with you. I'm very true to myself. It's natural, it's not false. I have organic conversation. Okay, I hope this episode falls into that category, because even me, I don't understand what I just came here to do, but like, that's how I feel. Those are the thoughts that I've kept in my head, and I've tried to make sense of them as much as I can. And I just felt like, obviously, that's what Selfscape is for. This is a place for me to come and share my thoughts with you and try to figure out what I'm thinking about. But yeah, I'm beginning to ramble. So, alright, bye. This episode has ended. I just want to say thank you to everybody that has been a wonderful listener, supporter of this podcast. I just wish you would actually share your comments so let me tell you guys something. Yeah, you share your comments with me privately, which I really appreciate. I'm very thankful. But the only way that this podcast will get more visibility on Spotify's algorithms is if you rate the podcast. That's one. And if you leave comments in the comment section of the podcast, that's the only way. I don't know where or how you're listening to the podcast, but if you use Spotify or you use Apple Podcasts, I'm begging you to please leave comments, rate the podcast. Right now, I think only maybe 4 people have rated it or something. Please rate the podcast. Like, I see the listeners, so I know I have quite an audience, but I am begging you guys to please help me. That's the only way more people, more like-minded people, will actually find Selfscape and listen to Selfscape, and have a good time as well. And please just help. Leave a comment. Share your opinions. Don't be afraid. You can be anonymous. Nobody is going to know who you are. I will know, but nobody else will know. Like, rate the podcast and then leave a comment, and also share it with other people. This is the only fact. You know what? Maybe this is the only thing I ask of you this month. Please do it for me. Please, give it to me as a birthday gift or something. Obviously, you may not be able to give me books because books are very expensive, but this one you can give to me because it is way cheaper, right? So thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, y'all.